The moment you enter into this message, your spirit begins to recognize that something unseen has been resisting you quietly, and today, the heavens rise to confront it. The instant you activate this 60-second return to origin ritual, every hidden enemy connected to your name will begin to be exposed, weaken, and lose their influence permanently. And today becomes the day you take back full spiritual authority over what concerns you. There are individuals who smile at you in daylight, yet speak shadows against you when the night falls. And there are opponents who cast spiritual arrows into your life but hide their hands afterward. This 60-second act is not ordinary. It is a spiritual weapon that God uses to uncover every concealed attacker who has been moving in secrecy. When you understand the strength of a prophetic gesture, you understand that God does not require hours to break bondage. Sometimes He needs only 1 minute of obedience, 1 minute of courage, 1 minute where you declare that you will no longer accept oppression. And that 1 minute becomes the moment every adversary begins to fall, confess, and lose power over your destiny. Lately, you may have noticed signs showing that someone has been battling you without your knowledge. The sudden heaviness, the repeated delays, the strange frustrations, the dreams that seem like warnings. These things are not random. They are spiritual indicators, reminders that life is not just physical. Life is spiritual first. And when the attack rises spiritually, the answer must also rise spiritually. That is why this message reveals a remedy that works swiftly, powerfully, and divinely. The combination of salt, water, and your spoken authority is not superstition. It is a sacred principle hidden throughout Scripture, practiced by prophets, by believers, and by those who understood the codes of spiritual warfare. And once you activate it, every witchcraft effort directed against your life collapses instantly. Many believers suffer not because God is distant, but because they are unaware of the spiritual tools placed in their hands. They don't realize that a prophetic step, combined with faith and spiritual clarity, can break chains that have bound them for years. They don't know that God honors intentional spiritual action, especially when carried out with understanding. They don't know that the enemy fears believers who rise with revelation. When you rise with revelation, darkness trembles. When you rise with understanding, evil becomes unsettled. And when you rise with authority, every curse sent to disrupt your purpose begins to return to its origin with divine urgency. This ritual works because it aligns your spirit with divine justice. It compels heaven to move, because you are not praying from fear but from revelation. You are stepping into a realm where God exposes what was hidden, judges what was sent against you, and forces every evil intention spoken over your life to crumble. In that moment of activation, angels move on assignment, agreements in darkness break, and every demonic monitoring spirit that has been quietly observing you is restrained. And as you rise spiritually for that single minute, the presence of God surrounds you like a wall of fire, blocking attacks and reversing every assignment aimed at your household. You are not reading this by coincidence. God connects people to divine knowledge when He is ready to shift the atmosphere of their life. There is a reason your spirit is responding to this message. There is a reason something inside you is signaling that this is the moment to reclaim your peace, your well-being, your clarity, your opportunities, your breakthroughs, and your destiny. Today becomes the day you silence all opposition. Today becomes the day their plans scatter. Today becomes the day their intentions return to themselves. And within these 60 seconds of commanded authority, heaven stands with you, angels contend for you, and your enemies fall. Salt has always carried spiritual meaning long before many understood its hidden depth. When you hold salt in your hand during warfare, you are holding a symbol of purity, preservation, and divine judgment. Salt exposes whatever is hidden, burns away unclean influences, and neutralizes what the enemy planted in darkness. This is why those who operate in witchcraft fear salt. It disrupts their agendas and dissolves their spiritual networks. When you use salt intentionally, you declare that no evil projection can survive in your atmosphere. You become spiritually shielded because salt symbolizes God's covenant, strong, unchanging, and undefeated. Water carries another dimension of spiritual symbolism because it represents cleansing, unveiling, and the washing away of hidden attacks. Water exposes what the enemy tried to bury and pulls out what was planted without your knowledge. When your fingers touch the water during this act, you call for spiritual cleansing over your thoughts, your home, your finances, your family, and every area connected to your life. You declare that every dark presence hiding around you must be revealed and washed away. Water destabilizes witchcraft altars, disrupts demonic attachments, and invites God's presence to flow through your surroundings like a river of deliverance. Your right hand carries authority whether you have realized it or not. Spiritually, the right hand symbolizes dominion, power, and divine judgment. When you hold the salt in your right hand, you are not merely performing a motion, you are activating a heavenly ruling. You are releasing spiritual authority into the atmosphere, declaring that you refuse to be powerless, manipulated, or spiritually blinded. The right hand is the hand of triumph. When lifted with understanding, it sends spiritual shock throughout the kingdom of darkness. Your voice is the final instrument in this act because nothing changes in the spirit until something is spoken. Harmful words were directed at you because someone somewhere spoke them, and the only way to overturn those words is with a stronger voice, empowered by divine backing. When you declare back to the sender, you are not speaking to humans. You are speaking to curses, to demonic arrows, to spiritual altars, and to invisible forces that have been influencing situations in your life. Your words become fire, judgment, and command. They chase out the enemy and send every negative intention back to the one who crafted it. When salt, water, your right hand, and your voice unite, they generate a prophetic force that darkness cannot endure. This combination produces a spiritual resonance that breaks witchcraft, exposes hidden enemies, disrupts demonic gatherings, and forces every evil projection to reverse immediately. It is not superstition. It is spiritual law. It is divine strategy. It is the kind of prophetic action that alerts angelic hosts and triggers immediate heavenly response. That is why this ritual manifests results so quickly. That is why your enemies collapse. That is why witchcraft collapses the moment you activate it. When you begin, take a small amount of salt and place it in your right hand. This movement may appear simple, but spiritually you are lifting a weapon of purity and judgment. You are holding something that interrupts darkness, absorbs negative projections, and burns away hidden impurities. As the salt touches your palm, let your spirit acknowledge that you are stepping into authority, declaring that whatever was meant to poison your path is now being neutralized by the power of God. This is the first doorway into spiritual dominion. After the salt rests in your hand, dip your fingers into the water. This action symbolizes cleansing, purification, and the exposure of hidden attackers. The moment the water touches your fingers, you are symbolically washing away every invisible hand that attempted to influence your destiny. You cleanse your paths, your home, your progress, and your opportunities. You declare that anything spiritually attached to you without your awareness must be uprooted and washed away. This step prepares the spiritual atmosphere for divine judgment. Once the salt and water meet on your hand, lift your right hand. Raising your hand is not just a gesture, it is a spiritual proclamation that you have assumed your place of authority. The right hand symbolizes victory, heavenly strength, and divine support. As you raise it, angels rise with you. Darkness retreats, evil withdraws. This gesture is your declaration that you stand in the power of God and refuse to submit to witchcraft or spiritual manipulation. When your right hand is lifted, your spirit becomes charged with divine power. With your right hand raised, speak with spiritual confidence and declare, "Every evil sent against me back to the sender." Say it boldly, say it firmly, say it without hesitation. These words are not ordinary, they are spiritual commands. They release confusion into the camp of your enemies. They destroy harmful spells. They reverse every arrow launched against your health, your finances, your relationships, and your peace. Speaking it 3 times seals the decree, and heaven responds instantly. After speaking the declaration, gently release the mixture of salt and water in front of you. This is a prophetic act that establishes spiritual boundaries. It tells the enemy, "You cannot cross this line." It signals that your space is now guarded by divine authority and that any further attempt against you becomes void. You are resisting the forces that have tried to trespass into your life. You are spiritually closing every door that witchcraft has attempted to open against you. As the water touches the ground, every evil projection loses access. As the salt falls, divine judgment is released. This step disconnects you from every hidden altar and sends instant fire into any witchcraft assignment. As you sprinkle the mixture, your spirit begins to experience a shift. You will feel the atmosphere around you changing. Sometimes you will sense sudden lightness, sudden calm, or even a strong presence of peace surrounding you. This is because the prophetic action you performed is spiritually potent. It compels angels to stand guard over you and forcefully repels every evil spirit attempting to monitor your life. This moment becomes a divine reset, a cleansing of your environment and the sealing of your spiritual walls. To complete the ritual, speak the final declaration with fire in your voice. Let God arise and let every enemy confess and fall. This statement invokes divine judgment and invites God's presence to move in your situation. It forces every dark plan to collapse, exposes every hidden enemy, and neutralizes every spiritual attack that was waiting to manifest. When you speak this, heaven responds immediately. God rises on your behalf. Angels strike your enemies. Evil altars crumble. Witchcraft assignments scatter. All of this happens within 60 seconds. The spirit realm does not require long to shift. When you perform these steps with understanding, authority, and faith, the power of God moves swiftly. This 1-minute act becomes a spiritual explosion that travels into every area of your life, your home, your workplace, your relationships, your finances, your health. Once activated, no enemy survives, no evil stands, and no witchcraft persists. Every evil returns to its origin. Every attacker begins to confess and fall. The moment you start this 60-second ritual, something shifts instantly in the unseen realm. The combination of salt, water, your lifted hand, and your prophetic declaration acts like a spiritual alarm ringing in the kingdom of darkness. Witchcraft networks that were operating quietly are suddenly shaken. Evil arrows that were heading toward you freeze mid-air. Demonic spirits assigned to monitor you are blinded and bound. In those few seconds, heaven responds to your cry, and divine fire moves through every corner of your life, revealing what was hidden and destroying what was sent against you. As soon as you make your declaration, confession begins in the spirit. Hidden enemies, those who pretended to love you, those who plotted secretly, those who spoke poisonously using your name, begin to lose the spiritual cover that shielded them. The light of God exposes their hearts, their intentions, their words, and their actions. Sometimes you may notice people acting strangely afterward, because the ritual forces spiritual truth to enter the physical world. Those who attacked you spiritually cannot hide anymore. The weight of their own evil begins to return upon them. In those 60 seconds, every witchcraft arrow sent against your life loses its effectiveness completely. If an enemy tried to project sickness, it reverses. If they tried to project poverty, it collapses. If they tried to send confusion, it fails. If they attempted to assign monitoring spirits to steal your dreams or weaken your spirit, those spirits are instantly restrained. The ritual creates a spiritual shield that blocks anything the enemy formed against you. It becomes a divine barrier no demonic force can cross or break. As you sprinkle the salt and water mixture, evil covenants are shattered. Any spiritual contract made against your name, knowingly or unknowingly, is destroyed. Evil writings are erased. Demonic vows spoken against your destiny are nullified. Every spiritual agreement formed by those who wish to hinder your progress returns to them. This is why the ritual forces judgment within seconds. It disconnects you from every place your name, your energy, or your image was being used for evil purposes. The link is severed, the chain is broken, the assignment is destroyed. As this occurs, angels of warfare are sent to move. They go to the source of the attack, whether a person, a location, or a spiritual altar, and begin dismantling it. They disrupt communication between the sender and the evil spirit they employed. They scatter gatherings where your name was mentioned. They bring confusion into the plans of those who sought to harm you. They cause panic in the spirit realm because your declaration activated divine judgment. God Himself enters the battlefield. When God fights for you, no enemy can withstand Him. The ritual immediately silences monitoring spirits. These spirits follow, watch, observe, and report back to the enemy. They are why some people feel drained, blocked, or constantly watched. But during this ritual, every monitoring spirit is struck down. Their spiritual eyes close. Their spiritual ears are shut. Their assignments end. They cannot track you again because your prophetic action creates spiritual blindness around your enemies while opening divine protection around you. The final result in those 60 seconds is spiritual restoration. Once the attack is reversed, any damage the enemy tried to inflict begins to repair. If your joy was stolen, it returns. If your peace was tampered with, it restores. If your dreams were blocked, they are reopened. If your finances were attacked, they are revived. God begins reclaiming everything the enemy attempted to steal from you. All of this unfolds because you took a single minute to activate divine power. That short moment of spiritual warfare becomes the turning point that forces every enemy to confess and fall while you rise in victory. One of the first signs that this ritual has worked is the immediate peace that envelops you. It is a deep spiritual calm that settles in your chest, clearing the heaviness that has burdened your mind. Before performing the ritual, many people feel tension, confusion, or spiritual pressure without knowing the source. But once the prophetic action is completed, that weight lifts instantly. You feel lighter spiritually, mentally, and emotionally because the chains restraining your spirit are broken. God's presence fills the space where darkness once lingered. That peace is the first confirmation that the return to sender judgment has begun. Another sign is sudden clarity in your dreams. When the ritual is activated, heaven begins revealing hidden enemies, unconscious attackers, and those secretly jealous or resentful toward you. Sometimes you will dream of people confessing, fleeing, or being exposed. Sometimes you will witness situations in your sleep that explain what has been happening behind the scenes. These dreams are not random. They are spiritual answers from God, showing that the ritual is already working and that those who fought against you cannot hide anymore. Spiritual truth will begin manifesting through your dreams. A third sign is unusual behavior from certain people around you. When the ritual enforces confession in the spirit, some enemies experience panic physically. They may avoid you, become overly kind, act uneasy, or inadvertently reveal hidden intentions. Individuals who once acted boldly may become silent. Those who opposed you indirectly may suddenly alter their tone. These behaviors occur because the ritual disrupts their spiritual confidence. The evil energy they relied upon is severed, leaving them unable to operate freely. Their actions expose what they previously attempted to conceal. You may also encounter unexpected breakthroughs soon after completing the ritual. Doors that were locked begin to open, delays are removed, opportunities that were stagnant reappear, situations stuck for months start moving within hours or days. This happens because the ritual not only returns evil to its sender, but also clears spiritual blockages that witchcraft created. When these barriers fall, your blessings flow freely. God restores everything the enemy tried to sabotage. These sudden breakthroughs, financial, relational, emotional, or spiritual, are clear signs that God has intervened and reversed the attack. Finally, you will notice the spiritual heaviness that used to follow you dissolving permanently. Monitoring presences that made you feel watched disappear. The whispers of fear that lingered in your mind weaken. Repeated patterns in your life break. The ritual not only enforces confession and judgment, but also seals your spiritual environment with divine fire. Your surroundings change. Your home feels lighter. Your spirit grows stronger. Your atmosphere shifts. When these transformations manifest, it becomes evident that the ritual has succeeded. The attack has returned to its origin, the enemy has confessed, and you have stepped into a place of victory where no witchcraft can reach you. Before and after performing this ritual, maintaining spiritual discipline is essential because spiritual warfare requires clarity of intention and a clean atmosphere. The power of this act is heightened by faith, understanding, and obedience. Never perform this ritual when you are angry, bitter, or emotionally unsettled because negative emotions weaken your spiritual authority. You are not fighting from the flesh, you are operating from the Spirit. Before you begin, quiet your mind, breathe deeply, and center yourself in God's presence. This prepares your inner being to speak with clarity instead of frustration. Those who speak from fear or rage give the enemy a doorway, but those who speak from revelation silence darkness instantly. Make sure your heart is steady before activating this prophetic act. You must also avoid certain things after the ritual, because the moment you release judgment in the spirit, the enemy may try to distract or weaken you. After performing this ritual, do not get involved in gossip, arguments, unnecessary discussions, or emotional entanglements with people. The enemy often uses human conflict to reopen the doors you just sealed shut. Keep your spiritual atmosphere clean. Play worship music if possible. Pray quietly within. Maintain calmness. Allow the power of the ritual to work without interruption. When you protect your atmosphere, the judgment you released completes its assignment without resistance. Another important warning is to never mix this ritual with curiosity about darkness, strange practices, or emotional revenge. Your intention must remain aligned with divine justice, not personal hatred. You are not performing this act to hurt innocent people. You are performing it to reverse whatever evil was directed toward you. There is a clear difference. When your heart is clean, God fights on your behalf. When your heart is polluted, the enemy uses it against you. Keep your spirit aligned with heaven. Stand firm, declare justice, not vengeance. This ensures the ritual carries full divine backing and prevents spiritual contamination. Be aware that once you perform this ritual, witchcraft can sense that something has shifted. The enemy may attempt quick counterattacks, strange dreams, anxiety, tension, or minor irritations to test your confidence. Do not fear these reactions. They are signs that the ritual struck the enemy's camp with force. Stand your ground. Repeat the declaration if you feel led. Pray quietly. The moment you show fear, the enemy tries to regain strength. But when you remain bold and refuse emotional reaction, the attempt dies instantly. Always remember, fear feeds dark forces, but authority destroys them. Finally, understand that faith is the engine of this ritual. Without faith, it becomes a mere action. With faith, it becomes spiritual fire. Believe that when you lifted your right hand, heaven recognized your authority. Believe that when you sprinkled the salt water mixture, angels moved into position. Believe that when you declared back to the sender, the evil truly reversed. Faith completes what your hands began. Faith seals the spiritual judgment. Faith ensures no enemy rises again. When your belief is strong, the ritual works instantly, forcefully, and permanently, causing every hidden attacker to confess, fall, and lose access to your destiny forever. As you enter this final moment, lift your spirit and prepare your heart. This is the point where the power of your declaration transforms into a spiritual weapon no enemy can withstand. Let your voice rise with confidence because heaven responds to boldness. Speak with the authority of someone who knows they are divinely protected. This activation is not a suggestion. It is a spiritual command. As you prepare to release these words, understand that God's angels are already stationed around you and the fire of judgment is ready to be released. This is the moment where every monitoring spirit loses access, every witchcraft assignment collapses, and every evil intention begins to return to its origin. You are not begging, you are commanding. Now open your mouth and declare with fire. Every evil sent against me back to the sender immediately. Say it like someone who is done with oppression. Say it like someone who refuses to be spiritually manipulated. When you speak this, heaven releases a decree that travels into every place where your name was spoken for harm. It enters every altar, every hidden conversation, every spiritual attack, and every silent plot, reversing it with speed. These words never return empty. They carry force, they carry judgment, they carry divine power. In that single declaration, you are spiritually closing doors that were kept open against you and scattering every force that stood against your destiny. Declare again with authority. Let every hidden enemy confess and fall by the power of God. These words trigger exposure. They pull truth out of the shadows. They strip away the spiritual coverings of those who targeted you. Regardless of how far they hide, how confidently they pretend, or how secretly they operate, the light of God begins pursuing them. Their disguise tears apart. Their schemes collapse in their hands. Confusion disrupts their plans, weakness enters their foundation, and the evil they intended returns to them. When you speak this declaration, heaven forces confession, and those who fought you spiritually cannot endure the pressure. Then release the breaker prayer that seals the judgment. I disconnect myself from every evil altar, every curse, every spell, every projection, and every spiritual chain right now. When these words leave your mouth, chains break, dark covenants shatter, unholy agreements dissolve. Whatever was binding you spiritually begins losing its hold immediately. Generational chains, spoken malice, jealous intentions, and silent spiritual arrows collapse under your authority. This declaration cleans your atmosphere and clears your spiritual path, enabling the power of God to move freely within your life. You are no longer spiritually reachable. You are no longer spiritually exposed. You are covered in divine fire. Finally, release the sealing command. My life is surrounded with fire. My home is surrounded with fire. My destiny is surrounded with fire. No evil will rise again. This sealing declaration completes the ritual with divine protection. It places fire around your name, your rest, your household, your finances, your steps, and your future. It forms a spiritual barrier no witchcraft, no curse, no projection, and no spirit of darkness can cross. From this moment forward, your environment becomes spiritually untouchable. What attacked you before cannot attack you again. What followed you before cannot follow you again. What fought you before has fallen permanently. And as this sealing fire settles, the ritual completes its work. Every evil returns home, every enemy confesses, and you rise into a dimension of victory that no darkness will ever steal from you again.